Hello everyone, my name is Abhi Bhardwaj and I'm back with lecture series on science. Today I'm going to talk about what is the connection we have with the rest of the universe, because we are definitely part and parcel of the universe, but how are we connected? So in order to understand that, we have to understand what life is actually, or let's start with our own life. To live, for example, I need oxygen to breathe so I could survive. I know that we have a lot of atoms within our body, but let's focus on two very important ingredients which we need to survive. The first one is iron, for example, which we use to carry the oxygen throughout our body, because the hemoglobin is actually iron which combines with oxygen, makes it oxyhemoglobin and bring it to rest of the body through heart and arteries. So where did this iron came from? Now, to have iron, we have to go back in the history of the universe, and you will realize that iron was not there in the beginning. It was just hydrogen and helium. So how this iron was created is a very interesting story. So iron was actually created within the core of different stars, and also there were a lot of catastrophic events in the history of our universe where many galaxies actually collided together also. And when those galaxies collided, that also led to formation of iron. And now come back to our own solar system. Our own solar system was, for example, made around 4 billion years back, and iron was part of Earth as well. And now it is part of our body, which binds the oxygen and carries the oxygen to rest of the cells which need it to create energy. Now the second story is story of oxygen. If you go about 3 billion years back, there was no oxygen on our planet. So when we do meditation, yoga, or when we just want to relax, we take a deep breath, and what does that breath contains is a very important part, which is oxygen. But where did this oxygen came from on our planet? Have you ever thought about it? There was no oxygen about 3 billion years back. So the second part of the story is oxygen actually was created by other single cell organisms at the time, and there were no other animals. Only one particular type of bacteria existed, which is called cyanobacteria. There was a lot of nitrogen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, but no oxygen. So these cyanobacteria worked millions of years, and they started converting carbon dioxide into oxygen, and that's how Earth started accumulating oxygen. Now the third very important thing happened when oxygen started filling up our atmosphere, and that was creation of very important part, which is ozone. If we don't have ozone layer, life still wouldn't be possible on this planet. So if you could imagine, the formation of oxygen took place because these were tiny bacteria, cyanobacteria, which started converting the carbon dioxide into carbon and oxygen, and they are still here. These cyanobacteria hasn't disappeared. Then they became part of plants, which we call chlorophyll. Even now, plants are half part of our lungs. Means that when I'm breathing oxygen in, I'm also breathing out carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is used by the plants to create their food, which is carbohydrates, in the presence of sunlight. And the chlorophyll part does the wonder. where those cyanobacteria still help us have that oxygen put back into the atmosphere by this photosynthesis process. Isn't this amazing? And when you look at the oxygen, it's only 20% roughly in the atmosphere, but it is such an important part for all of us to live, because if there's no oxygen, we wouldn't have survived. We wouldn't be here actually if there was no oxygen. So two very important elements in our body. One is iron and other is oxygen, and our cells need oxygen almost every minute because they produce the energy through ATP process. So if you look at yourself, you can imagine how you are connected with the rest of the universe, but most importantly, how universe worked so hard for billions of years to produce these elements, which are basic ingredient for our life to survive on this planet. And most importantly, human life is so important because we can understand and appreciate the nature around us. Through science, we can actually understand how everything has worked so precisely well to help us born as human. If you ever think that you're not making any difference, don't think this way, because every breath you take and then breathe out, you are helping millions and millions of life forms, especially animals, in future, because every time you bring out the carbon dioxide, that is helping the plants to produce the oxygen. And throughout your life, unknowingly, nature is making you do this work. So that's very important. But look at the connection universe has with you and how much hard work it has done to make your life possible on this planet. These two I talked about, but there are many other. Every element you have within your body, every atom you have within your body was produced somewhere in this universe, and now it helps you to have this wonderful life called human life. Thank you for watching.